pay respect to the Buddha together. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good evening to all of you. Tonight, the topic of the talk is the goal of Buddhist practice, paths and the fruits. The aim of Buddhist practice, as you all know, is to end suffering. Yeah. So, when you practice, it's also called the holy life. And in Samyutta Nikaya 45, Magga Samyutta, it is said that the holy life is the Aryan Eightfold Path. So Buddhist practice is the Aryan Eightfold Path. Nowadays, sometimes you hear people say there are 84,000 Dhamma doors. But that can only mean 84,000 ways of practicing the Aryan Eightfold Path. As far as the Buddha is concerned, there's only one Dhamma door. That's the Aryan Eightfold Path. It's the only way to Nibbana, to the ending of suffering. And in the Samyutta Nikaya 45, chapter 45, it is also said that the fruits of the holy life are the 8 paths and fruits. When you practice the holy life or the Buddhist practice, you attain stages of progress. And these stages of progress are called Aryan stages. So, sometimes it is said there are 8 Aryans. Sometimes it is said there are 4. These 8 Aryans is the first path, first fruit, second path, second fruit, third path, third fruit, fourth path, fourth fruit. And in the Samyutta Nikaya, Sutta 25.1, it is said that the first path, the lower stage of Aryahood, is also known as stream entry. In case there's not enough seats, I can put the seats in front. So, this stream entry, why it's called stream entry? Because there is a sutta that says the stream refers to the Aryan Eightfold Path. So, in the Samyutta Nikaya 25.1, it is said that after you attain the first path, stream entry, in the same life, you will turn to fruit at the very latest when you die. But later teachings, they say, especially in the Abhidhamma, they say when you attain the path, the next conscious moment it turns to fruit. This contradicts the suttas. Because in the suttas, there are a few suttas about dana, offerings, and it is said that you can make an offering to a path attainer, you can make offering to a fruit attainer. So if the person, once he attains path and it turns to fruit immediately, the next moment, you'll never be able to make offerings to a path attainer, because the moment you want to make offerings to him, he's already turned to fruit. So you have to be careful. There's a lot of later teachings which contradict the original suttas. So because the same life, the first stream, the first path will turn to the first fruit now, which is called a sotapanna. So sometimes they say there are 4 Aryans, referring only to the 4 fruits, because before that person dies, he will attain the fruit. Now, although the sutta says that this refers to the first path and the first fruit, that the first path attainer will attain the fruit in the same lifetime, I believe it also refers to other paths and fruits. Once you attain the second path in the same lifetime, after a few years it turns to fruit. Similarly for the third path and third fruit, fourth path and fourth fruit. The second fruit attainer is called the Sakadagamin, once returner. Once returner means he goes to heaven after he passes away, and then he returns one last time as a human being, and he must enter Nibbana. That's why it's called once returner. The third fruit is called the Anagamin, non-returner. Non-returner means he does not come back for human rebirth. He goes to heaven. And then he goes to 2 types of heaven. One is called the Suddhavasa abodes in the 4th jhana plane. But there are also some anagamins who have attained arupa jhana. So they are reborn in the arupa realm. From there they enter Nibbana. Then the 4th fruit is an Arahant. Arahant, you can say there are 3 types of Arahant. One is a Sammasambuddha. Sammasambuddha is the first Arahant in the Buddha era. It's the first Arahant. One of the 10 names of the Buddha is Arahant. But in Chinese Buddhism, they look down on the Arahant. They differentiate. They make a lot of difference between Arahant and Buddha, and they elevate the Bodhisattva to be higher than the Arahant. But in the suttas, the Buddha said the only difference between him and his Arahant disciples, liberated, is that he is the first Arahant. He has found this Aryan Eightfold Path, and his disciples follow him, practicing also the same Aryan Eightfold Path. So if they practice the same path, they will end up at the same place, enlightenment. So their enlightenment is exactly the same. You find some of the Arahant disciples of the Buddha, their psychic powers are quite comparable to the Buddha. People like Mahamoggallana. In one of the suttas in the Majjhima Nikaya, one day he came out of his kuti and was doing walking meditation. As he was doing walking meditation, suddenly he felt his stomach very heavy. Something got into his stomach, suddenly so heavy. So he quickly walked inside the kuti, sat down and attained jhana. He is the disciple with the greatest psychic power of the Buddha. So as soon as he sat down, he attained samadhi, and he contemplated. He found Mara, Satan, inside his stomach. So he said, Satan, he said, Mara, get out of my stomach, don't disturb me. And according to the sutta, Mara thought to himself, how can he know so fast that I'm inside his stomach? Even if I entered his master's stomach, his master could not know so fast. So he knew what Mara was thinking. So he said, Mara, he just thought like this. So he repeated what the Mara thought. Then he said, don't disturb a Buddha's disciple, get out of my stomach. So the Mara came out and stood at the door, put one hand on the door. And using his psychic powers, he thought he could camouflage himself, that Mahamoggallana could not see. So Mahamoggallana told him, you are standing at the door with your hand there at the door, and you think I can't see you? And he got a shock. So you see, Mahamoggallana's psychic powers comparable to the Buddha's psychic powers. So how do we practice the Aryan Eightfold Path to attain the paths and the fruits? This is explained in the Majjhima Nikaya Sutta 117, Maha Chattarisakha Sutta. In that sutta, the Buddha said, to practice the Aryan Eightfold Path, you must start with right view. And the Buddha repeated a few times, only start with right view. And right view will bring you to right thoughts, the second factor. And after that will bring you to right speech. And after that you will attain right action and right livelihood, followed by right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So you notice the 8 factors of the Aryan Eightfold Path are always stated in that order. And you have to practice in that order. Now, some other books say, some other suttas say that if you want to practice, first your time must be ripe. Every one of us, we go on the cycle of rebirths, lifetime after lifetime. After we are spiritually mature, then only we are ready to search for the truth. A normal, an average person would not want to think certain things like, where did I come from? Why must I grow old? Why must I die? And after dying, where do I go for rebirth? Is there rebirth at all? So many people don't ask these questions. Unfortunately, when they are dying, they will ask these questions. When we are young, we aim for this and aim for that, and most of the time we are aiming for worldly success, for wealth, for fame, for possessions and all that, for a beautiful spouse or a good spouse, beautiful children, long life if possible. So there are many people who attain what they want, and then suddenly they find the time is up. They have to go due to cancer or old age, whatever. And then they get scared. Then they ask themselves, what is life about? I wanted all these things and I have achieved all these things. Now I have to leave all of them. All the dear ones, all my dear possessions and all that. So most people, unfortunately, they ask these questions too late. And then they have no time to find out the answer. But if a person is spiritually mature, then he will start earlier. Go on a spiritual search. So the Buddha says that when you come to a teacher, you have to gauge him, examine him. How? The Buddha said, a real teacher on the spiritual path will have 3 characteristics, sila, samadhi and panya. He has precepts, he is morally upright. And then he has a calm mind, secondly, due to concentration. And then thirdly, he has wisdom. And then he also examines whether he has greed, hatred and delusion. But that takes some time. Takes some time to know whether a person has greed, hatred and delusion. The Buddha said you have to associate with somebody for long. And then you have to be very observant. And you got to be intelligent. And then only you will know a person's heart. So after you find out that the teacher could be an Arya, then you show respect. The Buddha says, after you show respect, then the teacher is willing to teach. And then if you are fortunate to find the right teacher who is either an Arya, sometimes it's called an Arya, sometimes it's called a Sappurisa. Sappurisa is a true man who knows Sat Dhamma. Sat Dhamma is true Dhamma, the original teachings of the Buddha. So, if you have such a teacher, he will teach you Sat Dhamma, the true Dhamma. And if you listen to it with focused attention, then you can understand. So, in the explanation of the Aryan Eightfold Path, it says you have to start with right view, but it doesn't explain in the Magga Sangyutta how you get right view. You have to look for the answer in other suttas. It's very important to study many suttas, the 5 Nikayas, to be very familiar with the 5 Nikayas. Then you can compare, because each sutta teaches you the Dhamma from a certain perspective, from a certain angle. The more suttas you study, the more you can see the Dhamma from different angles, and you can understand better. So, one source is the Bojjhanga Sangyutta. Bojjhanga are the factors of enlightenment. The 7 factors of enlightenment are also said to be the path to end suffering. The Aryan Eightfold Path is also the path to end suffering. So they are quite similar. The stress is on different factors. So in the Bojjhangas, the first 2 factors, the first one is called Sati. And in the explanation of Sati, the Buddha said, when you practice the Sati Bojjhanga, first you must approach a teacher and listen to the Dhamma, that means the true Dhamma. And after you listen to the true Dhamma, you must recall or remember it. And after you remember it, you must think it over. So Sati is defined as listening to the Dhamma, remembering it, and thinking it over in the Bojjhangas. Okay. Sati. Sati is often translated as mindfulness. Yeah. But the root word of Sati means to remember. And there are 9 suttas that define Sati. A person has Sati is one who remembers what was said and done a long time ago. So in other words, if you have Sati, you have a clear mind. Remember what was said and done a long time ago. And the perfection of Sati is in the 4th jhana. The Buddha says when a person attains the 4th jhana, he has perfect purity of Sati, parisuddhi, perfect purity of Sati. So when a person comes out of the 4th jhana, he has the ability to remember the past. 1 lifetime, 10 lifetimes, 100 lifetimes, 1,000 lifetimes, hundreds of thousands of lifetimes, like the Buddha and the Arahant disciples. They could recall their lives so long ago because they have perfect Sati. So Sati has to do with remembering. In the definition of Samasati, it is said, Samasati is to contemplate 4 objects, the body, feelings, mind and Dhamma. And certain books translate Dhamma as phenomena or mind objects, but that doesn't seem to correlate with the Bojjhangas. Bojjhanga says Sati is to remember the Dhamma, the true Dhamma of the Buddha. So Sati actually refers to the Buddha's Dhamma, the original suttas. So now the other thing is, of these 4 objects of Sati, the most important actually is Dhamma. It is said in Sutta, in the Anguttara Nikaya, that there are 5 occasions when a person becomes an Arahant. One is when he's listening to the Dhamma. The second one is when he's teaching the Dhamma. When you listen to the Dhamma and you can understand, and your mind is so clear, in the case of liberation, you need 4 jhanas. If you have attained 4 jhanas, the mind is so clear. When he listens to the Dhamma, he can understand and he becomes enlightened, like many of the Buddha's disciples. The second occasion is when he's teaching the Dhamma, because when somebody is teaching the Dhamma, he has to understand it before he can teach. So that's the second occasion. The third one, when he's repeating the Dhamma. During the Buddha's time, there were no books, so the followers of the Buddha, they have to keep repeating the suttas. So each time they repeat, it becomes clearer and clearer to them. Nowadays, we don't have to repeat because we have the SD card, we can listen, CD and all that. We play it again and again. Every day we play. It's easier than repeating. So the fourth way is reflecting on it, think about it. And then when you understand, then that person becomes enlightened. Only the fifth way, the fifth occasion is when meditating time. Like the Buddha, after meditation, then you attain enlightenment. So we find in the Vinaya books that the first 1060 arahants of the Buddha, the earliest arahants, the Buddha just spoke the suttas to them and they became enlightened. But of course, the Buddha went to look for those people with the 4 jhanas. So most of the time, people attain enlightenment by listening. And we find not only arahants, all the various stages, all the 8 stages of Aryahood, most of the time they attain by listening. So in the Bojjhangas, it is said that first you listen to the Dhamma, then you remember, then you reflect on it. And many people attain the stream entry that way. But the second Bojjhanga is Dhamma Vichaya, investigation of Dhamma. There are some people, when they listen to the Dhamma, they don't attain stream entry. So they have to keep listening and keep reflecting on the Dhamma, keep investigating on the Dhamma. So when they keep listening and investigating the Dhamma, later, after some time, they understand. And then they attain stream entry. That's why the second Bojjhanga is investigation of Dhamma. So these 2 factors, these 2 Bojjhangas, Sati and Dhamma Vichaya, helps you to attain right view. Also in the Majjhima Nikaya 43, it is said there are 2 conditions for right view to attain stream entry. One is the voice of another. And second condition is yoniso manasikara. So the first condition means the voice of another person teaching you the Dhamma. And yoniso manasikara is best translated as focused attention. When you listen to the Dhamma, you focus all your attention. And this is made clear in the Samyutta Nikaya Sutta 46.38. The Buddha said, when a person listens to the Dhamma with eager ears, attending to it as a matter of vital concern, directing his whole mind to it, on that occasion the 5 hindrances are not present in him, and the 7 Bojjhanga go to fulfillment. So when you listen to the Dhamma with eager ears, attending to it as a matter of vital concern, directing the whole mind to it, at that time the 5 hindrances disappear. For that moment you concentrate on listening, and the 7 Bojjhangas are fulfilled, perfected. So that is a condition for understanding the Dhamma and attaining stream entry. Other suttas say that the 5 hindrances are 5 things that obstruct you, are makers of blindness, preventing you from getting right view. So these 5 hindrances, normally people say sensual desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry and doubt. But they are not exactly these 5 things. These 5 hindrances are called, these 5 things are called hindrances when they are very strong and they obsess your mind habitually. So when they are very strong, they are considered hindrances. If they are not strong, they are not considered hindrances. So when a person attains the first jhana, these hindrances are cut down to a low level. So they don't obstruct you anymore. So they are not called hindrances anymore. That's why the Buddha says when a person attains the first jhana, he has eliminated the hindrances. The 5 things are still there, but there are no more obstructions. In the Samyutta Nikaya 55.55, it talks about 4 conditions for stream entry called Suttapatti Yangani. The first one is association with a true man, Sappurisa, one who knows the true Dhamma. The second one, listening to the true Dhamma. The third one is having focused attention when you listen. The fourth is Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatti, practice of the Dhamma in accordance with the Dhamma. So, these 4 factors, 4 conditions, if you have them, they lead you to stream entry. So you associate with the true man, listen to the true Dhamma, focus attention when you listen, and practice of the Dhamma in accordance with the Dhamma. That means whatever you start to learn, you try to put it into practice. But the most important is to keep listening to the suttas and try to understand it by reflecting on it, by investigating it. So, the sutta also says, when you practice these 4 conditions, you attain stream entry. And if you continue to practice these 4 conditions, it leads you to the realization of the fruit of stream entry. Suttapatti Pala, the fruit of stream entry, is also called Sotapanna, the first fruit. So, there is a sutta, also the same sutta 55.55, where the Buddha said, if a person, if these 4 conditions for stream entry are completely and totally absent in a person, he is a Bahiro, external sect follower. He is not a follower of the Buddha. So you see, be very careful here. The Buddha says, if you don't have these 4 conditions for stream entry, in other words, basically you don't listen to his true Dhamma, you are not a Buddhist at all. There are some people come into Buddhism, they keep meditating, they don't want to listen to the suttas. These people are not really Buddhists. They think they are Buddhists because they will never attain right view. Right view only comes from listening to the Dhamma with focused attention. And the Buddha says this because to him it's so important. He called all his disciples, whether monks or nuns or laymen or laywomen followers, all are called savakas. Savakas means listeners or hearers. So if you listen to the Buddha's words, you are called savaka, his disciple, his follower. If you don't listen to the Buddha's words in the suttas, you are not a Buddhist, you are not a follower of the Buddha. So just now, we heard in the Majjhima Nikaya 43 that to attain stream entry, basically you need 2 conditions, listening to the true Dhamma and having focused attention. So, you don't need jhana. There are some monks that say to become a Sotapanna you need jhana. But there is a sutta that confirms you don't need jhana at all. This is Sutta 55.40, where the Buddha talks about 2 types of Sotapanna. the diligent Sotapanna and the negligent Sotapanna. The diligent Sotapanna is one, after having attained Sotapanna, he makes further effort by day and night to strive to attain jhana, attain the first jhana. The negligent Sotapanna is after attaining Sotapanna, he does not make further effort to attain the first jhana, any jhana. So from this sutta, it's very clear that you don't need any jhana to become a Sotapanna. So also we see from the suttas, that it's not so difficult to become a Sotapanna. So a Sotapanna has certain characteristics. Firstly, there are 4 characteristics of a Sotapanna called Sotapannasa Angani. He has unshakable faith in the Buddha, unshakable faith in the Dhamma, unshakable faith in the Sangha, and he has Aryan Sila. What is Aryan Sila? Anybody can tell me? Aryan Sila is found in 3 factors of the Aryan Eightfold Path: right speech, right action, and right livelihood. And if you analyze these 3 factors, it's basically 7 precepts. 3 body precepts: not to kill, not to take what is not given, that means not to steal, not to engage in sexual misconduct. These are the 3 body precepts. 4 verbal precepts: not to lie, not to engage in divisive speech. That means you hear A talking bad about B, don't go and tell B, last night A said this and that about him. What do you call that? Batu api. The 3rd one is not to engage in coarse or vulgar speech, rough tongue. And the 4th one is not to engage in idle gossip. So these are the 4 verbal precepts. So if you have this right speech and right action, you will naturally have right livelihood. So these 3 factors of sila, right speech, right action, and right livelihood consist of 7 precepts. So these 7 precepts are very important. Also, once a person becomes a Sotapanna, he has a maximum of 7 more lives. 7 more lives, maximum. So that is why in the suttas the Buddha says, once you become a Sotapanna, the suffering that is left is so little compared to a person who has not attained stream entry. If you have not attained stream entry, you go on the cycle of rebirths endlessly. There's no end of time, no end of samsara. So in that long cycle of rebirths, you fall into hell countless times. You're reborn as a ghost countless times. Reborn as an animal countless times. So the suffering is hard to imagine. That's why it's so important to attain stream entry, to attain Sotapanna. Also, once you become a Sotapanna, you'll never be reborn in the 3 woeful planes, the ghost realm, animal realm, and hell. And then your merit is very great. Even you come back as a human being or you go to heaven, you have very great blessings. The Buddha likes to talk about 4 things. Ayu, Vano, Sukang, Balang. Ayu is long life. Whether in the Deva realm or in the human realm, you will have long life. Vano is beauty. Your beauty will outshine others. And then Sukang is happy. You'll be a very happy person. And then Balang, you will have fame and power. So, this is the characteristics of the Sotapanna. And in the suttas we find it's not so difficult to attain. One such sutta is Sarakani Sutta in the Samyutta Nikaya 55.24. There was a Sakyan man by the name of Sarakani. He passed away. Then people came to ask the Buddha, where has Sarakani gone for rebirth? So the Buddha said, oh, Sarakani has gone for a good rebirth. He was a Sotapanna. So the news spread. When the news spread, some people heard it. They were not happy. They said Sarakani was a drinker. He used to drink liquor. 5 precepts also he cannot keep. How can he be a Sotapanna? If he can be a Sotapanna, we are all Sotapanna already. So they did not believe the Buddha. So when the news came back to the Buddha said, why can't Sarakani be a Sotapanna? For a long time he has taken refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. I mean, for a long time he has listened to the Buddha. Then the Buddha said something very surprising. The Buddha said, you look at the trees. If I were to teach the Dhamma to these trees and they can understand my words, they also can become Sotapanna. Why not Sarakani? So you see, trees can become Sotapanna. Surely we have a better chance, isn't it? So from here, you see, it's quite clear. It is listening to the Dhamma. If it is meditation, the Buddha would have said, if I taught the trees meditation, they also can become. Isn't it? Okay, another very clear case is from the Vinaya books. In the Vinaya books, one of the Buddha, there's a few of the Buddha's disciples, they're not very interested in listening to the Dhamma one. We find in the Majjhima Nikaya, there's one sutta where the Buddha scolded one disciple. He said, I notice every time I teach the Dhamma, you never pay attention. So it must have been the case with Devadatta. Devadatta is one of the Buddha's disciples who keep on meditating, not very interested in the Dhamma. He meditated until he attained psychic powers, attained great psychic powers. So because of his psychic powers, a prince by the name of Ajatasattu was very taken up by him. So was very great fan now, he's a great fan of this Devadatta. So he used to offer 500 dishes, he get his workers to offer 500 dishes to Devadatta every day, But then the Buddha said, that foolish fellow, accepting 500 dishes every day as ego become bigger. So that's what happens when somebody does not have right view and you meditate and you attain something, the ego balloons. So one day when the Buddha was quite old, in front of a lot of other monks, he said, Bhagawa, why don't you step down? Let me take your place. You're old already, retire. The Buddha said, Devadatta, who do you think you are? I didn't even ask Sariputta to take over my place. I didn't ask Moggallana, you want to take over my place. The Buddha said, you are like spittle. Nobody wants to spit out. In front of everybody, the Buddha scolded him like that. Because the Buddha knew he did not have right view, he's not an Arya. So he got so angry, he schemed to kill the Buddha. So when he had this thought to kill the Buddha, he lost all his psychic powers, lost all his jhana. So he asked the prince to give him some men to do some work. So the king got him some men and told the men, whatever he wants you to do, you do. So he called the first man. He said, you go to the forest in such and such a place, you see Samana Gotama there, you go and kill him and come back by this road. And after that man had left, he called 2 men. He said, when this man comes back by this road, you kill him and come back by another road. Then he asked 4 men to kill the 2, asked 8 to kill the 4, asked 16 to kill the 8. Planned so well, So the first man went off, came to where the Buddha was. He was surprised to see the Buddha sitting there waiting for him. So he thought the Buddha must know what he has come to do. So he put down his weapons and bowed to the Buddha. He said, sorry, I don't have intention to kill you, but I was ordered to do so. So the Buddha said, Nama, you sit here, I will teach you the Dhamma. Buddha taught him the Dhamma, he attained stream entry. Buddha said, you don't go back by that road, 2 men are waiting for you to kill you. So he ran away. Then the 2 men waited until they could not wait and they came. Similarly, they saw the Buddha waiting for them. They also got frightened. Bowed to the Buddha, and Buddha said, sit down, I teach you the Dhamma. They also attained stream entry. 4 came also attained. 8 came attained. 16 came attained stream entry. See, these people can become stream enterers, surely we have a better chance, isn't it? So, this shows you don't need meditation. What you need is to listen to the right Dhamma. There's another time mentioned in the Vinaya books, after the Buddha had converted Jatilas, matted hair ascetics, 1,000 of them. Buddha went to convert them because they had attained jhanas. And because they had attained jhanas, some of them had psychic powers. So the Buddha went to them. The Buddha knew very hard to teach these people because they got ego, think they have attained something. So Buddha stayed several weeks with them, showed psychic powers. So such great psychic powers that they were very impressed. Like for example, one morning, the leader of the Jatilas, he came to invite the Buddha for the breakfast. The Buddha said, "You go first, Kassapa. I'll see you at the dining hall." So this guy went off. When he reached the dining hall, he saw the Buddha sitting there, holding a flower, and the Buddha gave him the flower. He looked at the flower, he had never seen this flower before, very special. The Buddha said, "I just went to Tavatimsa heaven, the heaven of the 33, I brought this flower just for you." Then he was again very impressed. Buddha can go to heaven and come down so fast. So in this way, they had great faith in the Buddha. After they had great faith in the Buddha told the leader, he said, "Kassapa, you keep thinking you're an Arahant, but you're not an Arahant. You're not walking the way to become an Arahant." Wow, this was like a slap in his face, Nobody challenged him like that before. So he knew the Buddha's meaning. So he bowed to the Buddha and asked to be a disciple of the Buddha. So the Buddha cut off all his hair, threw into the river. And when the hair all floated down, his 999 disciples saw, they got a shock. They thought somebody murdered the teacher. All came running. Then when they saw him bald-headed, they asked him, "Is this better?" He said, "Yes, this is better." So all of them also became disciples of the Buddha. Then after that, the Buddha brought them to Rajagaha, because previously he had met King Bimbisara in Rajagaha, and King Bimbisara asked him to stay, but he didn't want to stay. He wanted to search for enlightenment. So King Bimbisara asked him to promise, if he becomes enlightened, to come back and teach them. So he came back to see King Bimbisara, and King Bimbisara threw a big lunch for all these Arahants and asked all the people of Rajagaha to come out and to see the Arahants. So it seems 120,000 people came. After the meal, the Buddha talked to them about the Four Noble Truths. All of them attained stream entry. Another occasion in the Vinaya books, 80,000 people came to see the Buddha first time only. The Buddha discoursed to them about the Four Aryan Truths. They also attained stream entry. So sometimes people hear I say stream entry is by listening to the Dhamma. They get very angry. They say Buddha is different, Buddha teach, Buddha has psychic powers. People listen and he can become. Nowadays, but it's not like that. You don't need the Buddha, you don't need Arahant. I can show you in the Vinaya books about Sariputta and Moggallana. Sariputta and Moggallana were disciples of an external sect ascetic. Can't recall his name. So they were external sect ascetics. And one day Sariputta went on alms round begging for his food. And he saw Asaji also begging for his food. When he saw Asaji, Asaji was one of the earliest Arahants, the 5 Arahants, Ubichu. So he was very impressed by Asaji's looks, very calm and very clear his face. So he went to Venerable Asaji and he asked Venerable Asaji, he said, "Bhante, who is your teacher and what does he teach?" So Venerable Asaji said, "I have just followed my teacher not long, and I don't know much Dhamma. I can only say a little." So Venerable Sariputta said, "Never mind, little or much, you please tell me what your teacher teaches." So he said, "My teacher teaches, all Dhammas arise through conditions, all Dhammas cease through conditions. how do you say, 诸法因缘生，诸法因缘灭, yeah. So Venerable Sariputta is a very intelligent person. So he just heard these lines, I realized everything in the world arises from conditions. Everything in the world ceases because of conditions. So he understood dependent origination, attained stream entry. Then he found out where the Buddha was and all that. Then he was very happily, he went to look for his friend Moggallana. And Moggallana saw him, was surprised. I said, he looked a bit different. Look. So I asked him, what happened? Then Venerable Sariputta repeated what he heard. Venerable Moggallana also attained stream entry. So you see from here, firstly, Venerable Sariputta did not hear the Dhamma from the Buddha, He heard from an Arahant, yeah. And then Venerable Moggallana attained stream entry, did not even hear from an Arahant. He heard from a stream enterer. See? And what was taught now is not exactly the words of the Buddha. We don't have to be exactly the words of the Buddha as long as it is, the meaning is what the Buddha taught. So, next time people tell you, Buddha only can give you stream entry, you quote them this. Okay. Now, just now I mentioned Majjhima Nikaya 117. After you attain right view, it will bring you to right thoughts. That comes quite naturally, because once you have right view, you get rid of your wrong views. You get rid of your prejudices, wrong prejudices, everything. So you will have right thoughts. Right? So with right view and right thoughts, you will naturally also have right speech. You'll be careful of how you speak. And also, you will also have right action. You will keep your precepts. And because of that, you will also have right livelihood. So from right view, one factor, it gives you 5 factors. You will naturally get 5 factors. So, usually people say, Sila is right speech, right action, and right livelihood. But Sila means not harming others. Not harming others means not doing unwholesome karma. And karma is to body, speech, and mind. So if you just say right speech and right action and right livelihood, it only involves body karma and verbal karma. So you can say right thoughts is also included under Sila. So you have right thoughts, right speech, right action. That is the 3 karmas. So once a person becomes a Sotapanna, he has unshakable faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. He's ready to put effort to strive. And when we refer to Majjhima Nikaya 43, it is said that after a person attains right view, 5 other conditions are necessary before he becomes an Arahant, before liberation. So, these 5 conditions is the effort part. And this effort is mentioned in the Bojjhanga. Bojjhanga number 3 is called Virya, effort. So this effort refers to these 5 things. What are these 5 things? Sila, Dhamma Savana, Dhamma Sakacca, Samatha, and Vipassana. Sila is keeping the precepts. So just now we mentioned once you have right view, you will naturally have Sila. Then you notice Dhamma Savana and Dhamma Sakacca. Listening to the Dhamma is Dhamma Savana. Dhamma Sakacca means discussion of the Dhamma. So you see, to get right view, you must listen to the Dhamma. Now to become an Arahant, you not only must listen to the Dhamma, you must discuss the Dhamma to understand better. So the Dhamma is so important. Before right view, you need Dhamma. After right view, you still need Dhamma. So after that is samatha and vipassana. This samatha and vipassana is the 6, 7 and 8 factor of the Aryan Eightfold Path. Just now I mentioned once you get right view, one factor, you will naturally get 5. Then the another 3 remaining is samatha and vipassana. Samatha is meditation. Meditation that brings you to samadhi. Because in a sutta, let's see. In the Majjhima Nikaya 108, I think, remember Ananda was asked, what type of meditation is praised by the Buddha? He said the first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana. And he also mentioned the type of meditation that is not praised by the Buddha is a type of meditation where the 5 hindrances are not eliminated. So this sutta implies 2 things. Not only that Buddha's meditation is the 4 jhanas, but the aim of meditation is to eliminate the 5 hindrances. And the only way to eliminate the 5 hindrances long term is attaining the jhanas. Short term is when you listen to the Dhamma with concentrated attention. For that moment, maybe half an hour or 1 hour, when you are listening to the Dhamma with all your focused mind, temporarily the 5 hindrances are not there. But long term, you need the jhanas. So that is samatha, practicing meditation to attain the jhanas. And then the 6th and the 7th factor, right effort and right mindfulness, is called vipassana, contemplation. In Chinese we say nei quan. So samatha is what you practice when you sit with your legs crossed in meditation. When you are not sitting in meditation, you must practice the other factors, sila, listening to Dhamma, discussion of the Dhamma, and vipassana, which is the 6th and the 7th factor. So in vipassana, the 6th factor is right effort. Right effort is the effort to get rid of unwholesome states and to develop wholesome states. Why is it important to do that? Because unwholesome states, the Buddha says, will bring us to a woeful rebirth. You'll be reborn in the woeful plains if you have unwholesome states of mind. And if you develop wholesome states of mind, you will go to a good rebirth in heaven. In the suttas, it is implied that if you want to be reborn in heaven, you have to change your character right now until you become a deva or a devi inside you. I'm one of the few monks who believe that we have a soul. A lot of monks say we have no soul because they believe the soul means something permanent. But that is the Christian point of view. That is the Muslim point of view. If you look into the Oxford Dictionary, it is said that the soul is the spiritual part of man, often assumed to be permanent. It is not necessarily permanent. It's only assumed to be permanent. So there is something inside us that is spiritual. Of course, books like the Abhidhamma, they say there is no soul. There's no thing that enters the womb. There's no thing that it goes for rebirth and all that. They say the consciousness stops and the consciousness starts somewhere else. But in the suttas, we find that the Buddha said there are 3 conditions necessary for birth in the womb. First, mother and father must come together. Secondly, mother must be in the right season. So once the egg is fertilized, then the 3rd condition is there must be that being called the Gandhabba, which is ready to go into the womb. And then he enters the womb. So there is something entering the womb. That is the spiritual partner. So basically we are spirit. And we entered the egg, and the egg started to grow into a human being. So our flesh body is like a shell. One day this shell will die. and we have to leave this shell and go for rebirth again. Also, it's mentioned in the suttas that Venerable Sariputta was advising his friend, said that if your karma is so bad that you are due to be reborn in hell, the hell beings will come up and drag you down to hell. That's why in Chinese we say gu tao be bin, ngao tao ma min, yeah? The hell beings. So, in the suttas there is some evidence for this spirit. I had somebody told me of his very interesting experience. Many years ago, he could have been a gangster. I think he was a gangster before. He said he was chased by about 4 men who wanted to kill him. And he was running as fast as he could for his life, with these 4 men behind, chasing fiercely behind him. Suddenly he heard a gunshot. He continued running. And then something told him he must look back. So he stopped, turned around and looked back. He saw his body lying on the ground. And then he thought, and then intuitively, this thought came to him, I must go back. I must go back. So he went back in his body and he survived. If he did not go back, he would not have been able to go back later. So that's why there are many people have this out-of-body experience, near-death experience. They come out of the body. Usually they come back. If they don't come back, they won't be able to come back later. So, in these unwholesome states and wholesome states, what are unwholesome states? Unwholesome states, unwholesome states are like greed and lust, anger and hatred, arrogance, pride, deceitful and cunning, shameless, lazy, selfish, ungrateful, disrespectful, unmindful. All these are unwholesome qualities. And wholesome states or qualities is like being generous, kind, compassionate, humble, honest and straightforward, diligent, morally upright, etc. So, right effort is to get rid of these unwholesome states. But to practice right effort, you got to practice right mindfulness. You got to be mindful of your body. You got to be mindful of your feelings, your mind, and Dhamma also. When you contemplate your body, you have to realize that your body is impermanent. You should not be too attached to it. Also, it is a source of pain. If you get sick, one day you must die. Then feelings and the mind, you can't pay attention to it all the time. But when strong feelings arise, you must know. For example, very strong anger arises. You must know. And if you have unwholesome thoughts, also you must know, so that you can correct yourself. Also, your attitudes. Sometimes, if you look down on somebody, or you become domineering or whatnot, you also have to notice. So all these help you. Also your 3 karmas. The Buddha said, our actions through our body, speech and mind. Before we do something through the body, speech and mind, we should contemplate whether it can harm anybody. If it can harm anybody, we should not do. If it can benefit people, we should do it again and again. So before you do something, you contemplate. Buddha said, while you are doing, you also must contemplate. And after you have done also, you should contemplate. So for example, one day you lost your temper and scolded your mother. After 1 or 2 days, you think about it, then you should remember not to do it again. Try to make up for it. So that way, you perfect your karma, and when you perfect your karma, you perfect your sila. Sila is only looking after your karma, not doing anything wrong. So this developing our character is very important. Why? Because I mentioned just now, we have spirit inside us, and that is shaped by our actions, our character. Because an old devotee told me he had an auntie who had a very nasty temper and a very hateful temperament. And 2 days before that auntie died, the Dracula teeth came out. The family saw, the family got a shock. They tried to cover, they could not cover. 2 days later when she died, the teeth disappeared. It means she had really turned into that fierce ghost inside. And this soul was coming out of the body. So 1 or 2 days before we die, we know where we are going. Another world, another realm will appear. Another consciousness. So there are many cases like this, people who slaughter pigs and all that. 1 or 2 days or 3 days before they die, they behave like a pig. One old lady told me when she was young, the neighbor used to slaughter pigs. Few days before that neighbor died, he was squealing like a pig, exactly the sound of a pig, running around on all fours. So these things we seldom get to see, so it's hard for us to believe. But when you hear of other people's experience, then slowly you learn. So a lot of these things you only hear about it as you grow older. When we are young, we don't hear these things, we don't believe. So that is right effort, vipassana, and right mindfulness. And then samatha, concentration, is meditating to attain one-pointedness of mind. Our normal mind is very scattered. Our attention goes out through the eyes, the ear, nose, tongue, body and mind. So because of that, our mind is very scattered. We don't have strength, no muscle here. That's why when we close our eyes, it's all dark. But for the arahants, their mind is so concentrated. When they close their eyes, it's just like day. The Buddha said when a person attains the 4th jhana, the whole body emits light. So, to practice samatha, the Buddha's meditation was anapanasati, mindfulness of the breath. In Hinduism, they call pranayama. So you watch your breath go in, go out. Keep being mindful of the breath. But very soon the mind will run away. Every time it runs away, we pull it back. That is called thought-directed vitakka. And then we may sustain it on the breath. It's called vichara, thought-sustained. So we just use these 2 factors, thought-directed and thought-sustained. Every time it runs away, we pull it back and sustain it on the breath. And if you have the good karma, you have the blessings, you can do it. Then you are able to watch your breath longer and longer. And slowly your mind starts to come together. And when it starts to come together, 2 other factors arise together with one-pointedness of mind, ekagata. The other 2 factors are piti and sukha, delight and happiness. But usually when these 2 factors come, you're so delighted, you fall off the chair. So once you attain, you become too excited and get out of it. Then you yes, I say I must try again. So you keep repeating it. The important thing is whether your time is right. If your time is right now, you have the blessings, then you are able to do it. So if you don't, just now I mentioned, if you don't have any jhana, you can attain sotapanna. But there is a sutta in the Anguttara Nikaya, 9.12, that says, basically it says, a sotapanna does not need any jhana. Sakadagamin, second fruit person, needs either the first or the second or the third jhana. And then the anagamin, the third fruition, needs at least the 4 jhanas. And then the arahant also, to attain arahanthood, also you need 4 jhanas. But jhanas are very difficult to attain. So I usually encourage people to listen to the suttas more. Try to attain stream entry. Once you attain stream entry, you are secure, safe already. Not afraid of being reborn as a ghost Ghost is a lot of suffering, we don't see. Last time, many years ago, there's one man near the town of Dhamma, where our monastery is near this small town. One day, this man was coming back from work on a motorcycle accident. He died. A few days later, the ghost came back. They could hear somebody crying outside the house. They could not see. But one day, a small girl went to the house to play with that man's children. She came back crying. The grandmother asked her why. She said she saw her friend's papa standing outside the door. And that man cried. And it was not tears that came down, but blood coming down. So sometimes you see the posters, Chinese film, they show the ghosts and the blood coming down. Some people are psychic, can see. So Samsara is very fearful because of these three woeful planes of rebirth. Ghost, animal and hell realm. So to make ourselves secure, we must attain stream entry. Listen more to the suttas. I brought some SD cards. I spent several years teaching the suttas from 1997 until 2015. All the 5 Nikayas in English I have completed. As in these SD cards. These SD cards has about 300 hours of talks. I brought the English and the Hokkien one. Hokkien, I think I spoke on 4 Nikayas. So afterwards they will take out, if you want, you can get it. Only $10, 10 Sing dollars. That's about the price of a SD card, 8 gig. Any questions?
You mentioned that within jhanas you need to have the right blessing.
Right what?
Right blessing.
Yeah. The good karma.
We don't know whether we have the right blessing. Should we still continue to just maybe?
Usually for lay people, I encourage you to meditate soon after you get up in the morning. It's the best time for meditation. If you feel sleepy, then make a cup of coffee or something, and then you meditate as long as you can. After some time, if you are too restless, then you get up. Don't waste your time sitting there if you are not progressing. And then after you come back from work, don't meditate. When you come back from work, you are physically tired and you are mentally strained. So listen to the Dhamma. And some people who cannot sleep at night, I tell them to listen to the Dhamma lying down, sure sleep. One person, so many questions. Dear Bhante, good evening. You advise us study Nikaya first so that when we read any teaching in later books, if it is in conflict with the Nikaya's teaching, we can know it is false idea, teaching, and reject it. On the other hand, I understand that what the Buddha taught us in Nikaya is just like a few leaves in his palm. What he know and did not tell us is just like the numerous leaves in the trees of the forest. So now if I encounter an idea or teaching in a later book, if it is not in conflict with the Nikaya teachings, how to judge it is false or it is truth belonging to these leaves in the tree which the Buddha did not tell us. One of the founders of Mahayana Buddhism is a man they call Longsu Pusa. his actual name is Nagarjuna. He created these Mahayana Sutras. In his biography, he said he was asked. He was asked by people, they asked him, Bhante, previously we never heard of such sutras. Now you say these are all the words of the Buddha. How come? And what did he say? He said, the Buddha hid these Mahayana Sutras in the ocean, in the dragon palace. Then he used his psychic powers to go into the dragon palace and took out all these sutras. But during the Buddha's time, there were no books. So how could the Buddha have hid all these books in the ocean? Secondly, you find these Mahayana Sutras. At the end of the sutra, it says that the Buddha told everybody to copy these sutras and distribute so that they get a lot of merit. How could the Buddha have asked people to copy books when there were no books? And also you find in Mahayana teachings that it contradicts the early suttas. Also, he not only wrote the sutras, he wrote many other books, And then he said, the Buddha did not explain many things. So it is his duty to explain many things that the Buddha did not explain. This is like what our friend said. But there's the reason for this is because they are not familiar with the suttas. In the Digha Nikaya, Sutta 29, the Buddha said that his teachings are perfect and complete. And the Buddha said, if you want to add to his teachings, you don't see his Dhamma. If you don't see his Dhamma, it means you don't have right view. If you don't have right view, you're not an Arya at all, an ordinary worldling. The Buddha said, if you want to subtract his words also, you don't see his Dhamma. So those people who added more words than what the Buddha said, they don't appreciate the Dhamma. They don't know that the Buddha's teaching is perfect and complete. This sutta has another implication, is that our Buddha Gautama is the best Buddha you can find. You cannot find another Buddha which is superior to Buddha Gautama, because the Buddha's Gautama's teachings are perfect and complete. You cannot make it more perfect. You cannot make it more complete. Yeah? So how can another Buddha make it more complete, more perfect? The best Buddha you can find can only equal our Buddha Gautama. Cannot be greater than our Buddha Gautama. And the Buddha said, what he has taught is the 4 Aryan truths. And the purpose is to end suffering. He knows a lot of other things that is not relevant to ending suffering. So he doesn't want to teach it. So whatever the Buddha has taught in the 5 Nikayas, it is more than enough. Already perfect and complete. Yeah? So you don't need to look for other books. No need to compare. There are a lot of other books written by scholar monks. They like to think a lot and say a lot of things that the Buddha did not say. So my questions are, if this idea that we can return from the realm of Nibbana back to the realm of samsara to teach Dhamma to sentient beings in conflict with any teaching in the Nikaya, and why? You ask a lot of questions because you never study the Nikaya. In the Nikayas, the Buddha said, once Arahant or the Buddha has passed into Nibbana, you cannot see him anymore. You cannot hear him anymore. You cannot touch him anymore. This is also found in Mahayana Sutra, Diamond Sutra. Diamond Sutra in the Mahayana says that the Buddha has entered Nibbana. I think you want to see him and hear him talk again, you don't understand the Dhamma. You have gone the deviant way. Xie Tao. So it's already in Mahayana teachings. Because people don't understand Nibbana. Nibbana is not a place. When our sixth consciousness starts to work, the seeing consciousness, the hearing consciousness, smelling, taste, touch, and thinking consciousness. When these six consciousness activates, the world appears. The world is not outside there, we think the world is outside there, I'm inside this body. No. The world is in consciousness. And our consciousness is such that consciousness arises and passes away. Arises and passes away. Every time consciousness arises, the world appears. When it ceases, the world disappears. Arises, world appears. So it's like a dream only. Even now, quantum physics also says that the world is in consciousness. If you explain it scientifically, for example, you see something, what happens is that light particles, what they call photons, hit your eye. When these light particles hit your eye, it enters the retina. When it hits the retina, then the consciousness arises, this seeing consciousness. So this seeing consciousness makes you see. So what you are seeing is in the consciousness, it's not out there, it's in the consciousness. Yeah? We think the eye sees. If your eye can see, I give you a quick operation, take out your two eyes, put on the table, ask your eyes, see. Can Your eyes are like your spectacles, help you to see. It does not see. That's why at night when you dream, you're not using your eyes, but you see another world appear. Yeah? Just like the present world. And you don't know it's not real. Only when you wake up, then you realize, last night I was so scared of the ghost. It's only a dream. It's only when you wake up, you think that way. So now we have not woken up. The Buddha is called the awakened one. We are still dreaming. What is your comments about more than 10 times rebirth back to samsara of Dalai Lama? These lamas like to say that Bodhisattva comes back again and again. But in the Theravada teachings, only the ordinary worldling comes back again and again. The lowest Arya has only 7 more lifetimes. And then when the consciousness stops working, there is no more samsara, no more beings. Okay.
So Satipatthana is recollection of body, mind, feeling, Dhamma. Right? So then you're explaining that actually I might have missed it earlier, but I think you explain it as Satipatthana is actually Sati and Sampajanya, right? Which is recollection, which is Sati, right? Sampajanya, which is mindfulness. So that was your explanation. But Satipatthana is recollection. So where does the mindfulness thing come in?
There are two things, Satipatthana and Sati Sampajanya. They are two different things. Sati Sampajanya is what you practice in normal everyday life. Recollecting the 4 objects of Sati, and Sampajanya is general mindfulness. But it's not so general. It is more directed to your body and your mind. Yeah? Because only when you look inwards, you get wisdom. If you are watching TV, you are also mindful. Election results. But you don't get wisdom from there. Yeah. So Sati Sampajanya is what you practice in everyday life, but Satipatthana is what you practice during meditation. There's a big difference between Sati and Satipatthana. But a lot of books, they treat it as though it's the same. Today I brought some booklets called Contemplation and Meditation to tell you the difference between contemplation and meditation. Because nowadays a lot of people, they practice Vipassana and they say it is meditation. It is not meditation, it's only contemplation. But I didn't bring many books. I was afraid the custom will stop me. So I think here I brought about 15 books. It is 5 aggregates, because the sutta says you cannot have consciousness without the 5 aggregates. Consciousness must reside in the body. You see, like this ghosts or devas, they have a body. They are spirit, but they have a body. We cannot see them now. Yeah.
The connection between sati and samadhi. As a matter of practice, how do we process from sati to samadhi?
Sati is what you practice in everyday life, like I mentioned, being mindful of your body, feelings, mind and Dhamma. And then to progress to the 8th factor, you have to practice Satipatthana. Satipatthana is intense state of sati. There are some suttas in the Satipatthana Samyutta that explain this. That's why some people, they think they are practicing Satipatthana, but they are not practicing Satipatthana, they are only practicing sati. There's a sutta, I think in the Majjhima Nikaya, either 43 or 44, that says Satipatthana is the basis of samadhi. If you practice Satipatthana, you are aiming for jhana. And in the Satipatthana Samyutta, the Buddha said, if a monk practices Satipatthana and he does not attain samadhi, the jhanas, the Buddha said he's a foolish, incompetent, unskillful monk. The Buddha uses very strong words, Also in the Satipatthana Samyutta, the Buddha gave a simile to make you understand how to practice Satipatthana. The Buddha said one day the most beautiful girl of the land came out. And the men saw her and they clapped and shouted, the most beautiful girl of the land. Then they asked her to sing and dance, so she sang and danced. More people came out and clapped and shouted. Then an ordinary guy came along and they caught hold of him. They forced him to carry a bowl of oil right to the brim, wholly full. And they told him, you walk among the crowd, we will follow you with the upraised sword. If you spill even one drop of the oil, we'll chop off your head. So the Buddha said, this guy going with that oil, does he dare to look left and right? Does he dare to look at the beautiful girl? Dare not, because his life depends here. So the Buddha gave this simile to make us understand how to practice Satipatthana. One pointed attention on one object. That's the way to attain the jhanas. Yes. The time is not right now. In the Theragatha, the sayings of the Arahants, there's one monk, he said for 25 years he was living alone in the forest, practicing so hard. He could not attain jhana. But after 25 years of struggling, finally when he attained jhana, he became an Arahant. So everybody has his time. Yeah. You have to be observant. But this word parami does not come from the Buddha. Yes. This word parami or paramita was created much later. They used the Jataka stories to say that the Buddha cultivated these paramis over several lifetimes. It's not true. These Jataka stories are all grandmother's tales to entertain children. I come from Baba Nonya family, and when I was young, my mother used to tell me stories of Sang Kanchu, the deer who outwitted the tiger and all that. So it's very entertaining. These stories have a moral behind it. So these stories were passed from generation to generation. And then after the Buddha was enlightened, they used this and said the Buddha in his past life was a deer, was a rabbit and all that. But if you look at these stories, how can animals talk? How can animals be so intelligent like the rabbit? He saw the hunter hunting whole day, did not get anything to eat at night. He was boiling water, no meat to eat. He was so hungry. This rabbit jumped into the boiling pot, killed itself for the hunter. This is rubbish. Listen.
I don't know if it's a Sankachu story, but as far as I understand, sorry, Puchama, they have been practicing essence of mind. So when you listen, it's very possible you can do it. So is it parami? We Buddhists about parami, merits. So the question is about merits, whatever the
blessings.
Like in this present life, how do we know at which stage maybe what are signs?
When you talk about these blessings, it has to do with karma. And karma has many accounts. The Buddha said a person is born beautiful because he did not have a big temper in the previous life. If a person has a big temper in the previous life, always angry, your face becomes fierce. Every day you make your face fierce, then naturally you become fierce and ugly. And then a person who kills, he will have short life because of killing. Also a person who beats animals and all that makes the body painful. Next time he comes back, he'll be very sickly. Body pain here and there. So these are all different karma accounts. So if a person, because of killing karma, now he is stricken with cancer. So if he doesn't understand the Dhamma, he thinks, now I have cancer, I have to get long life. He thinks he does a lot of charity. You do a lot of charity, you're not going to get long life. You do a lot of charity, you're going to be wealthy in your next life. You see? So when you talk about blessings, you have to see what you are referring to. The intelligence is another account. The Buddha said a person is born intelligent because what he did not know, he made an effort to know. He questioned, he investigated to know the answer. That is very important. So if you don't know something, you don't make any effort, then you are forever ignorant. A few weeks ago, I was in Philippines to give some Dhamma teaching, and the people who came to listen are almost all Christians, mostly Catholics. So I asked them a question. I said, because they always talk about sin, I said, what is the biggest sin in the world? One person said, kill somebody. I said, no. And they were stumped. They don't know how to answer. I said, the biggest sin in the world is ignorance. Ignorance of the truth. Ignorance of reality. If you don't know how the world works, principle of karma vipaka, if you don't know that when you die, you have 5 destinations of rebirth. All these things, if you don't know, then you do the wrong things in life. What you should not do, you do. What you should do, you don't do. A lot of people go to the woeful plains not because they are evil, It's because of ignorance. Suppose like a man is very rich. He's got free time. He buys guns and goes shooting wild boar for fun. Yeah. He didn't know he's going to land in hell for that. If he knew, he would not have done it. Yeah. So a lot of things, you have to be very careful. Some people, you ask them to come to listen to Dhamma talk, they say, no time lah. No, that. Then one day when he's reborn in the ghost realm, he regret. Last time my friend asked me to listen to Dhamma, to meditate. Now I'm reborn as a ghost. What to do? You know what some of them do? They possess somebody. Now and then you hear about an old lady possessed by a spirit and helps people, heal people. People who are sick come to her. She goes in a trance, can tell you how to cure your sickness, how to cure your cancer and all that. It's not that she wants to do it, it's the ghost wants to do it because the ghost is suffering, wants to get out of the ghost realm. So the ghost gets the merit, and one day that ghost gets out of the ghost realm. Yeah, some spirit can enter your mind and your body. If your mind is weak, it can control you. Some people have had spirit enter them, and I asked them, they said, I feel like two persons inside. Yeah, your mind have to be strong. Meditation and precepts, they will protect you. Precepts is very important. Precepts means you don't harm other beings. And if you don't harm other beings, nobody can find fault with you. Last time when I was a new monk, I followed a famous teacher. And he was always talking about psychic powers. And people believed him because he could show some of it. I stayed with him for 3 years. And I found that his anger was very strong, his greed was very strong. And then when he scolded his monk disciples, they all put their head down, they not look at him. But at that time, I was newly ordained, I was very sincere. Very, very sincere. He expect us to sit sleeping, I will sit sleeping, never lie down. So sometimes he scold me, I think if I have a fault, if I have done wrong, I should be afraid. But you have no reason to scold me. So I look at him. Every time I look at him, he turns away. 3 years, never look at me in the eye. Just turn away his eye. One day, he tried to frighten me. At night, he asked us to arrange his bed, rearrange his bed. Next morning, he called me. He asked me a very strange question. He said, "Are you afraid of me?" I thought to myself, if I have any fault, if I have done anything wrong at all, I should be afraid. But I examined myself, I could not find anything. Absolutely nothing. I told him, "I'm not afraid of you." His face turned pale. He turned around, walked away. Later I found out if a person keeps spirit, quy kia. So you think you xin thong, you quy thong, 不是xin thong. 鬼通唔係神通. So he can know certain things because the spirit can tell him. So when I came back, I try to tell some people, they won't believe me because he's a famous monk. I'm not a famous monk. Then I thought to myself, see how he died. In the end, if he's a holy man, he'll be very happy to die. If he's an evil fellow, he'll have a hard time dying. And true enough, he had a hard time dying.
Thank you for your teaching. One of the factors of Sotapanna is Sakayaditi. Could Luangpor actually explain how a lay can actually cultivate that?
You don't cultivate that. You listen to the suttas and you try to understand. The Buddha's words are words of deep wisdom. If you were to think of it yourself, or meditate yourself, you can never come up with that kind of wisdom that the Buddha is trying to impart through his words. So when we listen to the Buddha's words and we think about it and try to digest it, and if we can understand some of it, we attain that type of wisdom. So the initial stage, you get stream entry path because of right view. Then it takes some time for you to continue listening to the Dhamma and understanding it, and then that wisdom matures. When the wisdom matures, it turns to fruit. That's the fruition. And when that happens, you attain Sotapanna, the three factors fall away. This Sakayaditi, doubt, and Silabhata Paramasa. So it's a result of understanding the Dhamma. You cannot practice Sakayaditi.
Study about sutta, we end it to Sotapanna, but it could be already 20 years of listening to Dhamma, and it's not even up to the Sotapanna. Will this good merits help us to go into the Sotapanna?
Yes. But then I said that you have to combine studying the suttas with samatha meditation. Because when we practice samatha, we learn to focus our mind. We train our mind to focus. And the ability to focus your mind is very important. Because when you are able to train your mind to focus, when you listen to the Dhamma, then you are able to focus your mind so that you can understand. So it must be combined with samatha meditation.
On this meditation samatha and more focus rather than doing those merits things. Can I say that?
It depends on what you want. If you want for a good rebirth, then do charity and all that. If you want to end your suffering and become an Arya, then you focus on listening to the suttas and meditation. One of the results of getting right view is that you will naturally become secluded or aloof. You will not want to mix with your friends, happy hour, go drinking beer and all that, go to the Singapore casino or enjoy yourself. You want to spend all your free time listening to the suttas and meditating. So you become a changed person. You will notice it yourself, and your friends also will notice this guy a bit queer already. But that's the price you have to pay. As an Indian saying, the holy path is the path of the alone, to the alone, by the alone. It's a very lonely path. Only Ying Xiong, heroic people can walk that path. There is a book written by a British guy. He went to India to look for holy men. So he met some holy men, he met some fakes also lah. So he took some photos, and there's a photo of a yogi with his legs crossed in meditation, his eyes open. I look at that photo, he has no pupil of the eye. No, that black pupil, with the eyes open, there's no black pupil. So it seems if a person keeps this spirit, the spirit possesses him, and you don't see the pupil in the eye. So they don't want you to know when you stare at him, he'll turn away. Some more questions. Say again.
If you suspect somebody is possessed, how can you help this person?
Are you in a position to help?
Let's say I suspect my relative, I'm not sure whether this person is possessed or keep ties, or how do you find out?
In Chinese, we say that person ji un ke lah, one so tai, because the blessings is so low. He has the spirit of a ghost inside. So if a person his karma is so bad, that he has a ghost inside. The ghost will know, and the ghost will do something to him. For example, there are some people drive on the road at night. Some people get in an accident and die. Because ghosts come out at night. So if they see, if your person is such that is going to be reborn as a ghost, this one can be my girlfriend or my boyfriend. Cause you to have accident. There are a lot of ghost stories. Last time, I had a devotee whose wife used to come to the, not in our present temple, in Penang, to do dana, to make offerings to the Sangha every day. The husband will drive her, leave her there, come back 2 hours later to pick her up. You never step inside the temple. And later I got to know, because his livelihood was not so pure, not so honest. There are some people, their livelihood is not straight. They don't want to listen to the Dhamma because they think after listening to the Dhamma and they don't keep the precept, the offense, it's even worse. The sin is even worse. So one day he got sick. Got so sick that he vomited blood. Then he prayed to heaven for life. He said if he survives, he will change. Then he survived. Then he started coming. And then he, almost every day, he come and ask me about the Dhamma, and I explained to him. After a few months, Chinese New Year came. So the sister came back from Kuala Lumpur to Penang to visit the mother. Soon after she came home, she was possessed by a spirit. And this spirit called out this man's name, this devotee of mine, called out his name. The mother got shocked. The mother said, "Who are you?" Then he said his name, actually her son. 10 years ago, this young man mixed with gangsters came back drunk on his motorcycle, got hit by a lorry and run over. So he died. That was 10 years ago. Now that the brother started learning the Dhamma, this ghost came back looking for the brother. So the mother didn't know what to do. The mother told the ghost, I said, you please go back. Wherever you came from, you go back. So the ghost found that the mother could not help. The ghost left. So later this man learned about this incident. He came to see me. Then I told him, you see, 10 years your brother never looked for you. Now you learn the Dhamma, ada harapan. There's some hope that you can help. Come looking for help. Because they are suffering in the ghost realm. Sometimes they are very desperate, they come back. So I told him, every night you go and light some incense. Inform your brother you're going to do some dana to some monasteries. Offer to the Sangha and transfer the merit to your brother. So he did that, lighted lamps, this incense, and then after that did dana, transferred the merit to the brother. And after that, brother didn't come back. No news is good news. There are many cases like that, and they are very desperate. They come. There is one sutta where a Brahmin came to see the Buddha, and the Brahmin asked the Buddha, he said, we Brahmins have a tradition. When our relative passes away, we think we want to help the relative, so we offer food, shraddha offerings, and we burn it, and we hope our relative will get it. It's something like our Qingming. So he asked the Buddha, will my relative actually get it? So the Buddha said, it depends on where he's reborn. If he's reborn in heaven, he won't get it and won't need it also. If he's reborn in the human realm, also won't get it. Reborn in the animal realm, also cannot get. Reborn in hell, also cannot get. The Buddha said, only if he's reborn as a ghost, he can get. And this man asked, what if my relative is not reborn as a ghost? The Buddha said, you should have many relatives in the ghost realm. They will get. And the Buddha said, in the very extreme case, even if you don't have any relative in the ghost realm, because you do charity, you will get the merit. So why did the Buddha say only ghosts can get? I guess because only ghosts can come back. Sometimes after somebody has passed away, after a few days, the family can hear at night somebody walking in the house, but you cannot see anybody. Sometimes the light will come on by itself, the door will open or close by itself. So he's trying to tell you that he's come back because he needs help. I have a friend in Kuantan. Several years ago, the mother passed away. After a few days, the mother came back, possessed the sister, and spoke to my friend. She said, I have come back because there's something very important I want to say. And the mother said, I'm sorry I have to use your sister. I know that it makes her very tired, but I have no choice. I have to speak now. I said, later I may not get the chance to speak. She said, she comes back to her own house. She cannot enter the house. Previously, when she was human, the house belongs to her. Now she's a ghost. Something was blocking her from entering the house. Then my friend is a Mahayanist. He didn't know what to do. He told the mother, he said, Mo pin na. Nothing you can do. She said, pin to kong li hang, pin to hak mo he ya. To lo gui lo kia na, to lo am monkey na. Where is bright, you go. Where is dark, don't go. In the ghost realm, where is there brightness? Ghost realm, everything is dark. So the mother realized he cannot help. The mother left. So you see. Many cases like this. There's another case, a devotee told me, his friend, an old couple, they were sleeping at night. Then they heard a lot of noise in the garden, in the middle of the night. Then the man told the wife, you can see who's making that noise. And the wife went to the window to look. Came back, told the husband, nobody. After a while, some more noise, a lot of noise. She went to see again, nothing. She thought, how come? And then she remembered the CCTV. Went to look at the CCTV, saw an old lady sitting outside. She got shocked. I went to the window, nobody. Went to the CCTV, old lady. Went back, told the husband went to see. Both got frightened, quickly went to bed. Next day, they went to the Taoist temple, got somebody to go into a trance. And then the man said, that old lady is your wife's previous life, Laima. And last time they engaged maids, even give milk to the baby. So after that lady passed away, she had probably no relative to help her. Desperately looking for somebody to help. And then she came looking for this lady. So you see, past life, somebody from past life, you have forgotten about that person. But that person is suffering and that person is desperate. Sometimes come to you in the dream, and then comes to you like that. Sometimes possess somebody. Interesting to hear ghost stories.
If a ghost can come to listen to Dhamma talk,
a ghost cannot come to listen to Dhamma talk because the mind is very disturbed. Very, very disturbed. He's crying all the time. How can he listen to Dhamma? Just like a mad person. You ask a mad person to listen to Dhamma talk. Can he listen? Cannot. Animal also cannot listen. But Devas and Devis will listen. Last time I went to Medan, I met one man who was a bit psychic. He can see ghosts, can see Devas. He said sometimes when the Dhamma talk is going on, he can see Devis sitting and listening to the Dhamma talk. There is one sutta where the Buddha said, it's extremely difficult for three conditions to come together. And the Buddha gave a simile of a blind turtle in the ocean. The ocean is so wide, and there's a piece of wood with a hole in it. This turtle only comes up once in 100 years to breathe and then go down again. Once in 100 years he comes up to breathe and go down again. What is the chances of this turtle when it comes up able to put the head right through that hole in that wood? Almost impossible, isn't it? Even if the turtle is not blind, the ocean is so wide and the wood is being drifted by the wind here, there, everywhere. Well, it's hardly possible even for a sighted turtle to put the head through. Not to talk about this blind turtle and coming up only once in 100 years. The Buddha said in a similar way, for you to get three conditions. One, to be born as a human being. Secondly, the true Dhamma is still in the world. Thirdly, you are able to meet the true Dhamma, able to hear the true Dhamma. For these three conditions to come together is so remote. Now you have these three conditions, you must make the most of it. The chance to become a Sotapanna. The Buddha said he contemplated one night, he didn't sleep, contemplated the whole night, the past. He managed to see up to 91 world cycles. And he said in the 91 world cycles, only 6 Buddhas were willing to teach the Dhamma. But the Buddha said in the Majjhima Nikaya 116, at one time outside Rajagaha, there was a hill called Isigili Hill. At one time there were 500 Pachika Buddhas. So you can find Pachika Buddhas, plenty. But to find a Sama Sambuddha willing to teach, to take the trouble to teach the Dhamma to the world, very, very hard. The Buddha is very compassionate. He says he frequently has two thoughts. One is the thought of seclusion, just to bliss out, do nothing, just enter jhana and bliss out. The other thought now is worry for beings. He's worried now we'll fall into the woeful planes. That's why he wants to teach the Dhamma. Do a lot of what? Donation.
But somehow he born as animal. And then you said this person still can enjoy his life. For example, he becomes a chocolate. So still, I think it's not really better than a beggar. So my question is, if he reborn as a ghost, his life will be like so-called wealthy ghosts enjoying the whole life. And second question is, what is the reason?
Wait, one by one. He said, what are the chances of him being reborn as a ghost? What?
No, what is the reason we become ghosts? Because this person he do so much and then he enjoyed the life as a pet or as a wealthy ghost.
No. If a person does not do evil, lives a normal life, and uses up his blessings by enjoying life, the likelihood is that that person will be reborn as a ghost. A ghost is just below a human. But if the person does evil, then it's more likely to be reborn as an animal and hell. Not really but then among the ghosts you have a leader, Taiko. That one has more blessings than the other ghosts, so he's the king of the ghosts.
If the devas were to listen to the Dhamma, why do they have a temple amongst us?
Oh, because each deva will have something like 500 devis as his wives. No time to build a temple. They are enjoying so much. They are not inclined to practice because they don't see suffering. But they have the wisdom to want to hear the Dhamma. So it is mentioned that devas, they listen to Dhamma talks, they can become Sotapanna. There are some devas also who know the Dhamma and teach, not so many. But some devas also, they want blessings, There's one sutta where an anagamin lay woman, anagamin means she has the fourth jhana. So one night she was chanting the suttas, very happily chanting the suttas. Then this Rakkha king was flying past and heard her chanting, came down because this lady has the fourth jhana, can see and can talk with devas. So this Rakkha king greeted her and told her, tomorrow morning some arahants are coming. They will come into the forest, and in the morning they will come for alms round, Sariputta and some other arahants. So the deva told her, you please do some offering, food offering to them and transfer the merit to me. He wants, the deva also wants the merit. So she said, okay. So the next morning, she went to make offerings to the arahant. So the arahants asked her, how do you know we are here? And she mentioned about this. And then she said, may the blessings all go to this Rakkha king. We all need blessings. So how to get blessings? Dana, Sila, Bhavana. Dana is charity. It's the easiest to do. So the merit is the least. Sila is more difficult, so it is more meritorious. But bhavana is the hardest. Bhavana, I mentioned just now, is the 6, 7 and 8 factor of the Aryan Eightfold Path. To practice vipassana, right effort and right mindfulness in daily life, and to meditate to attain the jhanas. That is very meritorious, because you practice this bhavana, you are likely to become an Arya. So for example, Angulimala, this bandit, he killed hundreds of people because of wrong view. Just like now, IS, some IS terrorist, he slaughters somebody, he thinks it's meritorious. It's wrong view. That's why I say, ignorance is the greatest sin in the world. So, Angulimala, after the Buddha taught him the Dhamma, he could have attained stream entry, and then he became a monk. Then after that, he practiced so hard, he became an Arahant. So he did not have to pay for all that killing, he did not have to go to hell. So bhavana is very, very meritorious.
If we dream of departed relatives or friends, does it mean that we are actually involved they are still in the ghost realm?
Not necessary. Sometimes you think of them and you dream of them. But if you dream of them in a very sorrowful state, very thin and miserable looking, then it's likely they're asking for help.
So if you dream of them looking very happy,
Then it's okay.
I have dreamt about my grandma many times. Not a long time after she died. I also dreamt of other past lives.
Do they look miserable?
No.
No.
They didn't look miserable. But it was
But if you do any dana, it's always good to transfer the merit to all the departed relatives. No need to mention names.
But it's very peculiar because it just came. Sometimes 15 few seconds. That's it. But there was once my uncle, he spoke at length with me, having a normal conversation. Then I suddenly realized, it's not like we have already passed it. And then there was one time,
Could be just created by your imagination. Any other thing?
we talk about bhavana. Is chanting an important part of it?
No. Chanting, during the Buddha's time, they don't do chanting much. Nowadays, if monks, say after dana or something, monks like to do chanting and they say giving blessings. That did not occur during the Buddha's time. During the Buddha's time, if monks are invited to a house dana and all that, after that they give a Dhamma talk, and that is the blessings. Listening to the Dhamma is great blessings. But you listen to chanting, you don't get much, you don't benefit from it. Yeah.
One thing is regarding this, what can I say? I don't know, maybe somebody. Let me say it.
Any other thing?
Okay, sorry. Let me try again. This contemplation 32 parts of body can actually lead us to Nibbana. Is that true? And how to practice this contemplation of 32 parts of body?
Firstly, it depends on how much of it you practice, and 32 parts of the body can be practiced in two ways. You chant the 32 parts of the body, head, hair, body hair, nails, teeth, skin, flesh, sinews, bone, marrow, kidney, heart, liver, midriff, spleen, lung, bowel, entrail, gorge, dung, brain, bowel, phlegm, pus, blood, sweat, fat, tear, grease, spittle, snot, all of the joint urine. This was the first meditation the Buddha taught. So you can either do it slowly or you do it fast. If you do it fast, it becomes a concentration exercise. And if you do it slowly, you contemplate one by one. But to contemplate one by one, you have to know what it looks like, what it feels like. So last time when I practiced, I had to practice this. When it comes to lungs, I never seen lungs before, and liver and all that. So I asked somebody, a devotee, go to the market and buy the pig's lung, buy the pig's heart, buy the pig's liver and all this thing. I touch it, I feel it. Because pig's parts are quite similar to human parts. So after that, then you contemplate one by one. Then if you do it often enough, then you think about it. So when you look at a beautiful girl, you don't say, they say beauty is skin deep. Only outside looks very beautiful, but when you think of inside, not so attractive anymore. So it helps to cut lust. Yeah, to understand it one by one. Yeah. Use the mic.
Does it work like memorize and learn some protective verses when we chant everything? This kind of does it help us like protective?
Not really, Not really.
Chanting the verses, reciting them also,
the benefit comes from when you are chanting something, your mind is concentrated. So, for example, if you go to a certain place and some ghost disturbs you, so you keep chanting, it doesn't matter what you chant. If you chant Itipiso or what, just keep chanting, so your mind is occupied, and you don't think so much. The more you think, the more frightened you become. Yeah. So it helps to cut your fear. And also if your mind is concentrated, that spirit cannot control you. Your mind is weak, it can control you.
I just want to thank Bhante because I've been following you on YouTube and I listen to all your talks.
Very good.
Sutta talks. And some of the places you have done at now, I have seen all of them. And I'm glad that I learned a lot of things from the talks. It cleared a lot of wrong views, I should say. And now I finished the whole thing like you said. You have listened again. And now I'm listening the third round. And like you say, when I sleep, I also listen until I fall asleep. Yeah. Sometimes when I wake up in the night, I see my iPhone off, so I press again. So I'm very, very thankful to Bhante.
Sadhu.
A lot of wrong views we have created. Very thankful. That's why I want to come during. And also because I went to your website, I always look for the news where you are. So long. So actually, the past year I was wondering, if you come to Singapore, how nice.
You come to Timor also very nice.
Very good for me to go there. So for the past few years I was really looking. Suddenly I was on the YouTube listening to your thing. So I went to the BPG website.
The website is not so up to date. Our Facebook is Facebook.
But recently, the past few years, I saw this news. I rang up the page and you see this complete here. So thank you very much.
I'm very happy to see these Sutta talks have benefited many people. My Hokkien talks are quite popular in Penang and Kedah, northern side. And my English talks, because it's on YouTube, sometimes like recently, African American came And beginning of the year, there was one doctor from Berlin also came. He's a psychologist, and he said when he listened to the Dhamma talks, he's surprised that in psychology, the findings, the last 100 years, he said the Buddha already said this 2,500 years ago. Now only science is confirming a lot of things that the Buddha said. So people come from different parts of the world because they go into YouTube. There's some people tell me with tears in their eyes after they listen to the Dhamma how much it has benefited them and also benefited the family. The Dhamma is the best medicine. The Buddha is the best physician in the world. But it's very important to listen to the right Dhamma. I followed the wrong Dhamma for many years, so I tell people to lead them to the right Dhamma. So with that in mind, sometimes I'm very blunt. I say very blunt things. I say no Kuan Yin, no Amitabha. So I create enemies. I say Abhidhamma is not the Buddha's teaching. Vipassana is not the Buddha. Meditation is not the Buddha's teaching, and all this. So if people cannot accept it, it's too bad. They want to follow the wrong teaching. You can't do anything. As the saying goes, you can lead a horse to the water, you cannot force it to drink. Yeah.
We don't just take what we hear.
Yeah.
I'm a funny follower.
What was the last thing he said? Oh, Kuan Yin follower. I was a Kuan Yin follower.
Like a godmother. As I learn Vipassana and practice, I realize it's not about worshipping. It's more like illuminating the community. So I take the Bodhisattva as the quality of the Bodhisattva to apply that. So it's much of like asking them living. Or like sometimes we pray for guidance, wisdom, in that sense. So they sort of help to relieve those who are still ignorant to really like a comfort. So sometimes, I take as Kalama Sutta. So what Bhante say, so it's unknown to me.
Yeah.
A process to explore.
In this world, there are many teachings, and in the Sakkapanha Sutta, Devaraja came to ask the Buddha certain questions. He said, do all the monks and the ascetics follow the same teaching? The Buddha said, no. He said, why? The Buddha said, there are many different doctrines in the world. So when people listen to certain doctrines, they tend to believe it. And after they believe it, they think only this is true, all else is wrong. So the important thing is to investigate more and more. I was supposed to come from a Taoist family. When I was young, my mother sometimes would bring me to the Taoist temple, and she had to bring up 8 children. It was quite difficult for her. Sometimes she'd go to the Taoist temple and pray for help. When I followed her to the Taoist temple, I saw some of these deities supposed to be gods with the long tongue, with the long hair, all that. I thought to myself, this is so ugly, how can it be gods? How can it be... But I go to school, I see Holy Mary is so beautiful. Jesus is so handsome and nice. So I think I'd rather become a Catholic than a Taoist. So I followed the Catholic religion for many years, even thinking of getting baptism. And later doubts arose. Then I left. Then I went to Hinduism for 4 years. Then after that, I worked in Kuantan. I mixed with army officers, drinking beer, wine, women and song, enjoying life. I started to dream of ghosts night after night, and dream of ghosts. Then I started to think, why? And then I thought, when I was young, I was spiritually inclined. Now, days of wine, women and song, I forgot all about religion. There must be a spiritual vacuum inside. So I went back to religion, studied all the major religions in the world. Then I came to Buddhism. And then followed Mahayana for 9 years. Prayed to Kuan Yin, recited Amitabha, etc. Until I got disappointed with my teacher and then started to question, there must be something wrong with Mahayana. Then I went to investigate Theravada. Then I found contradictions. Then I went to Theravada. After I came to Theravada, I found also a lot of wrong teachings in Theravada due to the later books. So, because I was so disappointed with my first teacher, I did not aim to look for another teacher. I studied the Buddha's words. Took a lot of trouble to study the Buddha's words again and again. Then it became clear to me that what I did was correct, because the Buddha, when he was about to enter Parinibbana, Venerable Ananda asked him, Bhagawa, after you are gone, whom should we take as our teacher? The Buddha said, after I am gone, take the Dhamma Vinaya that I have taught to be your teacher. The Buddha did not appoint somebody. So it is his teachings now that is our real teacher. Also in the Anguttara Nikaya 4.180, the Buddha said, if any monk says that the Buddha taught like this and like that, the Buddha said, don't accept, don't reject. Compare it with the suttas and the Vinaya. If it accords with the suttas and the Vinaya, you take it as the Buddha's words. Otherwise, you just reject it. So our real teacher now is the suttas. So in the spiritual journey, we progress. Stage by stage we progress. The thing to do is to make the effort. As the Bible says, search and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be opened unto you. Even the Quran says, if necessary, go as far as China to find the truth. Effort is very important. Nothing comes easy.
First skeptical about Amitabha also. And because I thought it was scholarly, and then it was not giving the first, what do you call first concept. Then, after I learned about it, I find it doesn't kind of clash with basic teaching of Buddha. And then maybe because of it, I was taught, it always leads back to form the truth, the Eightfold Path, and so on. So, I kind of also find that if it is back, it's not clashing, it's just reorganizing of Buddha's teaching. Is that wrong?
The present Abhidhamma that is in Theravada consists of 7 books. The first 3 or 4 books are quite okay, conforms to the early suttas. But the last 3 books have a lot of added material which the Buddha did not say. They talk about Kalapas, talk about Bhavanga, and all this, Patisandhi Citta, Chuti Citta, and all this, which the Buddha never talked about. It's the same as later Mahayana teachings. They talk about the 7 consciousness and the 8 consciousness. The Buddha never talked about that. Buddha only talked about 6 consciousness. So because it's fascinating, so people like to follow. But the question is, does it make you wiser? Does it help you to cut your greed, hatred and delusion? Any other thing? Yeah. Yeah. No. The meditation taught by the Burmese are based on later books like the Visuddhimagga, commentaries and all that. So even the jhanas that they say they attain is very different from the sutta jhanas. You won't know until you investigate. Come, we invite the devas and devis to rejoice with us. We are not transferring merit, we are asking them to rejoice with us. Itavata cha'am hihi. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.